This is TVA Fandemic, a podcast about real human issues brought to you by Dark Crazy Dark Night.
And they're just all, I mean, I just get so tired of it. It's just that I love you too, but I hate all that stuff. It's like that countless arguments because they keep like more and more with Last Jedi's, and Mark Hamill hates it. I was like, he can hate it. He's an actor. Anybody can hate this movie. It doesn't. There's no verdict. Nobody's right. If you guys hate it,
have you heard of Mark Hamill's idea? What he wanted him to do? It's
right. It's just like
it doesn't reset the thing.
But,
yeah, he's entitled to that.
Yeah, but like Lynn said with Zack Snyder, this stuff should exist. Have Zack Snyder make 1 billion of these. I don't care. I'll watch them. They're fun. Other people make other stuff. Like, I just don't.
Don't watch it. It's not rape in childhood.
But
you didn't like it.
Like you're saying, Sean, that it does feel like they're trying to chase some kind of objective. It's like there's no objective truth here from what you guys think. We can think people opinion. I say this in just general. Opinions only matter to people you know. Like, I don't have an assumption that everybody cares about my opinion besides people that know. Like, you guys, I talk to about it. I've talked to people in my life about it, but I don't go on the street corner and start yelling it because it's invaluable. Nobody cares in that situation.
And 9 times out of 10, if you find yourself, like, I have a hard time discussing things I like with people who like the same things most of the time because... Right. I may not enjoy the way they consume that media. Like their opinion may not enrich my worldview. When they're like, "Yeah, I like this because blah blah blah," like, well, that doesn't help me any. Or they'll say, "I'll tell you what my theory is," and it's the most pedestrian, obvious bullshit. You're like, I'm not trying to be elitist here, but I'm just not interested in having that conversation, even though it's about exactly the thing that I like.
Yeah, I don't even care about the opinion. I care about the breakdown, articulating why or why not. I'll talk to somebody that doesn't like something all day long, or like, tell me why you loved Interstellar so much. Like, talk to me about that. I was like, I really don't. I'm not even here to say it sucked because they'll ask me why it sucked. It's like I don't really feel like going into it. I'd like to know why you liked it, and then
challenge me, like blow my mind, like give me something new. Like this is what should happen with this discourse. Is you have an opinion, and maybe you even feel very strongly about that opinion, and someone says, "Well, I kind of think this." Instead, I think you're wrong there. And then they give you a perspective that you hadn't thought about. A lot of the YouTube channels that I follow are people who make videos that are built on a thesis I don't agree with, but it's well constructed. I'm like, well, I value that viewpoint because I don't agree, or I agree with the point, but it doesn't have the impact.
It's sort of like this movie.
With you, it doesn't make me not like the movie.
It's sort of like this movie. I don't agree with it, but it's well made.
One of the things that makes the fandom and stuff so toxic is because they get in their echo chamber and they hear their own opinions back and back and back, and they don't seek out different opinions. They don't find any validity.
They want that validation,
and they all they want is the validation of me. I'm right. I feel good, and they don't expand their minds at all. They get so locked in these like little viewpoints, and they need to just like step out of the basement. And
it shouldn't be like the whole point of this shouldn't be joy. Should be the byproduct of this stuff. It shouldn't be just being angry all the time about stuff. If this is angering you, this is an issue. Then you need to get away from this stuff.
You shouldn't be fighting growth. That shouldn't be your main goal. Shouldn't be to make sure that you're never forced to evolve in your ideas or opinions. That shouldn't be what drives you, because that's true with any kind of. I mean, it's fandoms like this, but this is like when you're doing research. It's like if you begin with a theory and you research to prove that theory, then you're already doing it right. Because you should be researching something to gather enough information to form a theory. That's being more objective, and that's sort of the way your opinions of things you like should be. You shouldn't say, this is what I want or like going in, and anything other than that is objectively wrong, and therefore other people with those opinions. Like, let somebody add something to your world.
Yeah, to me, the way I approach this stuff, it's like you're taking it in, you're going, well, how do I feel about this? It's like, am I feeling... I'm always... I think, this is one how everybody should do it. Most people don't care. They'll just watch something. I'm always questioning my impression of this one. I'm like, I wish I could have watched this for the first time this way. Because it's like, is this part boring because I already know the story, or is this part boring? I'm always trying to question and understand. Like, I enjoy that. I enjoy constructing some sort of it's my taste and my thing, but I'm constructing my own hierarchy and stuff in my own head. That's all kind of fun to do. Like I heard something on this I was listening to some kind of political based thing about like incel kind of stuff, and these guys going, "Well, it's not me. I just know that." And then the guy pauses like, "Anytime you like, quick tip. Anytime in your life you have that opinion, just first off, and you won't, if you're not going, what am I doing? Could I be doing something in this situation to fix this? Then you're wrong. It's like it's not me. It's obviously not me. I'm right about this. It's like, well, maybe I don't like this. Maybe there's something wrong with it. Maybe like."
But why do I feel this way, or why does that bother me? You don't have to
Those are
answer
the big
those
things,
questions right away, but you should have the courage to ask those questions. Like when something, like if they say, well, they're going to make a black Superman, you're like, that's stupid. It's like, all right,
why is that pissing me off?
Why do you feel that way?
Right.
I mean, I'm not like, we won't approach it by saying that's a wrong opinion to start with, but just ask yourself, why do you have an opinion about that? What do you think alters it? Like why is that a thing that needs to be commented upon, or that you feel so strongly about? I used to be a big advocate for Temple of Doom, like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which I still love that movie.
Right.
But I used to be like, well, Last Crusade's pretty goofy and stupid, but the Temple of Doom is the underrated one. A lot of people don't like it as much. But that's the good. Megan was like, let's watch Temple of Doom. Let's walk through it and just like scene for scene. And then we didn't get like maybe one act of the movie where it's like I couldn't defend the scene before it happened, because now I was seeing it from that other perspective. Like, oh yeah, like every time like Kate Capshaw's like, oh, ah, like running around like, and you're like, oh yeah, this is a lot sillier, and this didn't age. But I had to be made to see it from another perspective, where I'm like, oh. And it didn't make me hate the movie, but it makes me not defend it as vehemently, because I see that other valid perspective exists.
Yeah, just understanding that, just the lack of introspection is usually what causes all this stuff. Like I said, like the channel's going, we're all about love, and every one of them is about like how somebody should be fired. I was like, well, hold on. Ask yourself a question. Would a really content and happy person, even just in life, be going after somebody else getting fired, no matter the reason? It's like, you know what I mean? Unless they did some kind of awful thing. But it's like, well, let the people work. It's none of our business. If something, one of these things, the parties involved will figure it out, right? What do I, sitting here in Atlanta, have to do with any of these things going on right now? You know what I mean? Like, they can fix it. They're doing their own thing. There's investigate, whatever's happening. So it's like, people not willing to actually just, and they don't care. The biggest things do, they also think the world's against them. That's like the number one trait. It's like everything is meant. It's like if the world isn't like made to be against you in every moment and like a front to you. This stuff like everything's just made.
If
they don't care about
that,
you.
they would have to understand how unimportant they are.
Right. It's like,
well, that's the basis of all conspiracy theories. Is like that's the need. I have to be the center of something. Like this is being done
that everybody else
to
doesn't.
me.
I'm smarter than everybody else.
Right.
They want me to think this. There has to be a they, because the they is focused on me.
Right.
And that's where that all comes from.
Well, confusion has to turn into anger and not just into embarrassment that you don't know something. Because usually you get confused, you're like, what am I? I'm behind all of this. I need to look into this. That's how a normal person should react. Not just like, I'm tired of all this stuff, this stupid thing. Look at this. It's like hold on. It's like, being angry is not a normal state of life. If you find yourself being angry, and then you're like, why am I angry? It's like, why am I confused? Like you said, like walk back through the steps. It's like, why are you confused? 'Cause I don't know this thing. I was like, well, maybe look into it and see how you feel about it.
Educate yourself on it. Maybe it won't intimidate you.
You don't have to like it. It's still okay not to like things. But
the things you love shouldn't make you so mad.
Yeah.
Like if every time somebody makes a thing based on what you love, it just infuriates you, then you're not loving these things right. Because
and I think
if you're right and they're just making it in a way you don't like it, that goes back to the comic book thing. Like, well, maybe you don't like this. If every time one comes out you hate it, maybe you do not like this.
Right. That's what I'm
and
saying.
you should seek something else.
I mean, part of it's bad faith stuff too, like you said, because they're running channels that deal with stuff, and who knows?
But yeah, there's a bunch of clickbait bullshit on this. That's why I especially try to tell Brooks, I was like, you just got to curate
Anything behind
You're
any of
feeding more.
the
Star Wars channels are the worst. They're the hardest to find good ones because you'll be following some for a little bit, watching some videos, and they'll start talking about SJWs or some bullshit. And you're like, oh,
yeah. There's certain keywords you could look out for, probably filter out if that existed. Like anytime somebody says disaster, don't watch that video. It's like it's
Civil
a
War,
disaster.
Lucasfilm, no.
It's a disaster. SJW, and they mention that word as a keyword. Is anything that? Yeah, that's not it. So what's that?
Yeah, those
It's
are
like-
going to hurt you. There's some that are decent, but every now and then still there'll be a video that makes you think, I don't know
Yeah,
where the
there's just-
leanings are.
Yeah.
But you got to protect yourself because you'll get swept into that toxic feed and not even realize it. You have to be
Yeah.
very careful about the information that you are choosing to take in. Even if it's based on something you like. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of stuff that talks about Star Wars because most of the people who do Star Wars videos, either it's toxic-esque or it's that sort of pedestrian level enjoyment where it's like, you're not giving me anything that changes the way I think or feel about it. You're not enriching me, so I don't need to know that other people enjoy this product. I'm well aware. So
Right.
I need something that enriches my viewpoint on it.
Right.
Tell
And
me
most of the
something I
stuff.
don't know.
Yeah, and most of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're still
That
talking
isn't-
about.
that isn't just a lie.
Yeah.
I don't know that because you made it up doesn't help me any.
Yeah. Now that it's just. I don't know what we're. It's just funny. It's very poignant with this movie because it's all tied in, and a lot of their fans are all tied in this, and I have a little issue with sort of how this got made in that sense, like how much we can just be babies and just want this. Like I'm all for him being able to do this.
That's the
But
conversation
it's like-
because
but
people are
I'm-
like, is this emboldening toxic fandom? But I kind of think that this is not. Everyone's acting like this is a big fan push made this happen. I kind of think this is a brilliant marketing push because this release, the Snyder Cut, really started coming from the internal group, like Zack Snyder and those guys, and then some of the cast members started teasing it too, and sort of stoking that. And by the time the fans thought this was something they did. But I
Right.
kind of think that this was
Were they all being
cooking.
manipulated?
I really do feel like they being brilliantly marketed to.
Right.
They just kept being told that this thing existed, and then this buildup of like, oh yeah, maybe we will.
And it's the
release
right
Snyder
place,
Cut.
right time with HBO Max and stuff because couldn't have existed anywhere else. It wouldn't have done anything else. Like they're also hungry to get core content now. Like all this stuff ties together. You know.
But I do feel like that this was not as big a push by fans or even toxic fans. That's the discourse that people try. Like, is this just rewarding toxic fandom? It's like, I think Rise of Skywalker was a bigger win for toxic fans than the Snyder Cut is.
Yeah. Well, because that actually changed content. That's what I like about this. It's like nothing with this stuff has to do with toxic fandom. It just attracts certain people.
They just wanted to see the Snyder Cut.
But not because it's bad. I mean, a lot of assholes like football too. I mean, football's bad. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. It's like it just is that by its very nature. But it's HBO Max. This is a $70 million original movie because they don't. You know, I mean, they're not having the baggage of how much we already spent on this thing. It's like what would it cost to make an original movie that will have more impact than putting another original movie out? Like, you know what I mean? In a week or two. You know.
And we get everybody to do the heavy lifting.
Press. Yeah, this has more press than anything, and it's what any action movie would cost them. Like these Netflix action movies that come out, and nobody cares about.
Yeah, Netflix spends money like crazy on stuff we don't give a shit about at all. Like they've made like 10 movies that are like big budget, big star movies, and I don't even want to watch them. So this was a
drop in the
shrewd
pan.
investment for
They have
Warner.
like hundreds of millions. They have like over 100 million subscribers. So it's like they're making billions of dollars a month doing this. So it's like $70 million is nothing for them to drop. You know.
Well, yeah, and HBO they don't have to do as much as Netflix. Netflix has to stay competitive because they don't own a massive library of content the way that these studios.
Well, they do now. They have a movie every.
They're working on it. But like Disney's ahead of everybody that way because of the amount of IP that they've purchased, even just recently. Not even counting what they already owned. But
it is weird how
Fox
there's
and Lucasfilm, they have this massive amount of IP.
It's weird how it's not all on there though. Like they don't have all the X-Men movies. It's like only X2 and
Yeah,
The
they're
first
getting
one,
more.
like, it's like
You see more of them all the time there.
they don't have First Class in there, I don't think. But they have Days of Future Past. Because I was trying to watch one. I was like, I want to watch one of these X-Men movies again. It's like, they don't have all of them. It's weird.
They do have X-Men and X-Men 2, which I like because those, to me, are the most fun. Those are.
I kind of wanted to watch Last Stand and watch how horrible it was. I was trying to do that the other day, and it's like...
I still think that Last Stand's not that bad.
I remember that being bad, but I don't remember. Again, that's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to watch it again. And I was like...
It's watchable. It's like people are down on Spider-Man 3. It's like, it's watchable. It's fun. They're not the best ones, but they're still watchable. Like Amazing Spider-Man 2 would be a difficult one to watch because there's so many wrong decisions in that movie. But Amazing Spider-Man 1 is a fun little movie. I liked Amazing Spider-Man. So it's weird, the things, especially in today's world, because we are so spoiled, where people are like, that's total garbage. It's like, we never used to have anything like this.
Right.
We watched stuff like the worst superhero movie that you can name right now is like better than anything we had in the 80s when you were trying to watch comic book movies.
Well, that's why when people,
The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, direct-to-video, because it never came out in the theater.
I'll hear that when I just hear people that, like, I also forget that some people... I just assume everybody's into movies sometimes too, and I forget that people even just are casual movie watchers, and so that makes them even more of casual like superhero watchers and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, those are movies. They're like kind of derisive of that. So I was like, well, you'll hear people like, oh yeah, it's like it's another Marvel movie. It's like, you sweet summer child. It's like these movies. If I was 10 years old nowadays, I'd be like, oh my goodness. It's like these are like that, and like with the Zack Snyder. This is like a little bit edgier for this rated R, I guess, but. All this content they have and all these amazing things, it's like, it doesn't even compare. Like, it's like, they can be so like, yeah, whatever, that one's dumb, I didn't like that. It's like, I had under 10 movies that are probably my pinnacles when I was a kid.
Yeah, now there's probably amazing movies that we haven't even seen yet because they make them so frequently. Probably, maybe not, because there are a lot of garbage movies that get made out. But
there's a lot of garbage stuff too, though.
But you do every now and then. People are like, "This movie's really good. You should check it out." And like, well, people keep saying this. We'll watch it. It's fine.
Right.
We watched The Kid that Who Would Be King. I don't know. Everybody said that movie
the
is
King
really
Arthur
good,
movie,
but
it's all right.
It was all right. I know
It's fine.
It's thematically good. Maybe that's what people like about it, and it's a good kids movie. But people act like it was sort of transcendent of its genre. It's like, no, it's kids who become the Knights of the Round Table. It's pretty standard.
Right.
So that's fun. Yeah, we live in a glorious time. Stop being mad about movies.
That's
Unless
when you also...
if you enjoyed breaking it down, you can get a little worked up breaking it down. Even with BVS, we talked about it until
we got worked up.
Anymore. It was fun.
Because again, this is what I'm saying. I don't mean to say people's opinions don't matter, but opinions just in general don't matter. Like you said, it's like I didn't say that. You said that. I'm saying opinions. Nobody cares about anybody's discussion matters. Like breaking things down and breaking those down is the only thing that matters. I don't care if you say, yeah, like you said, I don't care if you say you like it or didn't like it. It's like, okay, great. That's why sometimes ratings, if the ratings are only indicative if you want to go watch it or something. But even I don't like that anymore because you don't just. You're like, oh, this only has 3 stars. Should I watch it? There always is that little bit of calculus. I'm like, just watch it. What are you doing? Like, just.
I do that on Amazon or something.
But it's only interesting if the discussion's what's interesting. You know what I mean? Like, we just got on and go, this is pretty good, right? Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah. Liked it. Good. Thumbs up. What's everybody's rating? 8.5 and 9. It's like, who cares? Just talk about the stuff you liked in it. Like, take the moments and talk about it or talk about what you didn't like. That discussion was what's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't care if shit
doesn't have the weight that you think, because an opinion doesn't change anything.
I don't care about people's opinions or their verdict or whatever. Just tell me, just talk about it, and don't talk about the producers or like what they thought or who they like. Just
enjoy having your mind blown too. I mean, invite the discussion so somebody could give you an opinion that you didn't take into account.
Right. When
you formed your opinion like this, it's not just that we have to have these opinions that are immutable, but we feel the need to just form them immediately. We make our opinions the same way they make these YouTube videos. Like they're like, oh, we gotta get ours out first.
Hot takes,
because the discussions on the cycle on that's only going to last for a few days. So we got to get our review out.
Yeah, that's not how it works at all.
The day it comes out. I can't even look at YouTube the day one of these Marvel shows is going to drop because every video is about the show I haven't even seen yet.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to watch WandaVision all at once when it finished, but I wasn't able to because nobody's not spoiling it. Everybody's like on Twitter.
Right.
Immediately after they watched it, they felt like everybody needed to know. Like they're like, I'm not going to spoil it, but I really like that episode. And I'm like, why did you need to say that?
I don't know why they do Thursday. It's a weird time. They do it like at 5 o'clock on Friday or something, so at least people get home and watch something. You know what I mean? It's like I ended up watching it Friday morning. I watched it like 8 o'clock on Friday morning because I wasn't going to watch this because it's like.
Well, see, Megan works on Fridays, so. Well, I work every other Friday, but even if I'm off, I can't watch it till the evening because we watch them. We watch them together. So it's going to be Friday evening before I get to see it, no matter what happens.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I don't know what the message is here. I just don't think. I think people. I like people talking about stuff. I just don't like
chill or what.
The hot take. Yeah, just why don't you just? That's like your opinion, man.
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah. Maybe just shut up.
Look at this guy.
That would be my favorite podcast. It's just every time, like, I don't know, maybe just shut up.
Yeah, it's like, shut up, man. You shut up.
For like an hour.
It's called No, You Shut Up.
You Shut Up would be a great name for a podcast. No, You Shut Up, the podcast.
Yeah. That's what we want. We want more detailed discussions of these things that are, and I think that a lot of times it's because it's one person talking to. I think I have that. My problem with even legitimate criticism from like New York Times or something is that problem. I don't like declarative statements on things just for your very reason. Because 3 weeks from now, I might think something differently. How about we just? I'd much rather have those critics like listen to a podcast of 3 of them talking about the thing, and like, oh yeah, that's true. I did think that. Like that's. To me, because it's like, who cares what your declarative statement on this thing? I don't really want to. Or if you're
doing reviews matter, but if you're doing a review as a knee jerk, then try to analyze it as the experience rather than saying that you got to read on the whole thing. Like you watched a movie one time. I don't. You got the definitive opinion about that movie. But maybe it's me because maybe it's also I also think out loud as we talk. I think out loud all the time in my life in meetings and everything. Like I'm just always open. Shut up.
Yeah, but I'm always open to like when we talk about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that actually is true. I think I do like that. But like to me, it's silly to write. It's like who cares? Because you could be thinking, you could watch it one more time and go, you know what, I'd actually totally feel differently about this thing. It's like, it's just silly. Why do we... Or it happens. It turns out that I just wasn't having it that day. And now I've rewatched it. And I tend to find that most music reviews really do this. And that's why I hate music reviews are all garbage. Is that they all kind of are based on, is what I'm talking about. Everything's based on, well, culturally, these things have to do with this thing. You know, it's like they just wrote a song. They really did. That's all that happened. I mean, music is one of the more dumb things to pull intentions behind because rarely there ever are. I mean, maybe when they're writing lyrics and maybe when they're doing stuff and maybe what something came out of it, but they're just writing something that sounds good to them. And then they're not even crafting, you know. And it's like, well, I think really what they're talking about was just the disparity between... I'm like, no, they weren't. They were writing... So it's like, I don't know, yeah.
People have to justify the 20,000 words they've been given to talk about this.
Yeah, it's like, it's all silly. I think that's what I'm just saying. We should all just recognize, do it, but also saying, this is all kind of garbage, too.
The self-awareness, again. Yeah. Like, we know what we're doing. This is episode number 300.
Yeah, don't take a transcript of this and read it.
This show is just really us talking shit, and we know that.
Yeah.
We're here just to chat to each other.
None of this should be transcribed and put in print anywhere. It's like, this is just all BS. It's like...
We probably get, 3 views on this video, and there's only 3 people on this show.
Yeah.
If we get less than 3 views, then one of us doesn't even watch.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch it. Not when I'm on. I want to see myself and hear myself talk again. Gross.
Oh, I have to. I gotta see it.
I must.
This is why you're running the show and not me.
Let's talk about that. No, but yeah.
Australia. Underwater at the moment, sorry. Can't come here. Flooding everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If we're done with the pandemic here, God, you guys, you were on fire, now underwater.
Yeah, like this time last year, everything had just burnt down. Now it's all underwater.
I know, guys. Get the chocolate and the peanut butter. That could
What-
have been two
What
birds.
could possibly be happening that is causing these once in a century
Yeah.
climactic events to be
Why-
happening? I can't understand.
Why
it.
does the climate seem to be
Why is the
changing
climate so
so
funny?
erratically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're casting all these women in superhero movies. That's
Because all these homosexuals.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know people don't complain about that. Now it's transgender that everybody complains about.
Yeah.
What are we
Being
gonna
horrible.
do?
People.
Keep moving the goalposts. Are we going to run out of groups that are just okay to make fun of?
It's just going to be gingers.
Why can't we just settle on that now? It would be like just scapegoat one group, like the Purge. It's like
Yeah.
a world where they decided they got rid of all racism and all prejudice because they just picked one group that would absorb it all
Right.
from then on, and that was their role in the society. It's like, I'm sorry, man, but thank you for your service. We don't have to write it right
Well,
now. But
Yeah. We'll wait.
Apparently, I've been selected to win an iPhone. Whatever.
well, there you go.
Happy days. No, not an iPhone.
It's Cyborg. He gave you it.
I won the bank sweepstakes, which is
Some
I didn't
Nigerian
think a
prince
thing
wants
that
to marry
existed.
me.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Wouldn't you feel immediately suspicious if you were just at an ATM and it said, you won a sweepstakes, and it just shot money out at you? Like, this
Yeah.
doesn't seem... And plus, there's a camera, so they're seeing that happen. Like, we don't have a fucking sweepstakes. What's going on here?
Well, I think, to me, not to get crazy, but I think the implications is he could change all systems in there to be like, oh, we do. All you need to do is send some email from some person like, oh, do you know about our sweepstakes? Like, okay, apparently we do. I don't.
Yes. That seems like a lot of work on the back end.
But he's like super. They almost make him too powerful at this. I
But
think
you
it's
don't
really
have to
cool.
shoot cash at him. Like why is
But he
all you
could
had to do
change-
is go into her bank account and add money to it, or go to your landlord and make it look like she paid the rent.
I mean,
Like, what do you
ostensibly,
shoot
he's
cash
more
out at?
powerful than Superman.
Yeah.
If he can take every nuke warhead and send it somewhere in a moment.
Well, they say that in the comics. Like,
Superman can't do
Superman's like,
that.
what are you talking about? And he's like, I could send out a pulse that would kill you immediately. Like, I could send out I could make an electronic noise or whatever that would just disintegrate you right
Right.
now. Like, he's got so many powers. And Superman's like, I could punch.
But
This is
nobody's
why-
worried about what would happen if Cyborg goes bad. They're like, no, he's on the team. Don't worry about
It's
it.
difficult
Yeah.
to comprehend something that's powerful in a way that's not punch.
Right.
Like, he just hacked into the Bat computer and sent us a text message on the Bat computer. We weren't
Right.
worried about him having that ability.
Yeah, just go over there.
Yeah, see if he'll join our merry crew. And then the first thing he says when we are putting a team together, fuck the world. It's like, I don't want to tell you your business, Batman, but this guy seems like a threat.
It's like, you told me to meet here.
He's like,
It's like he meets him here, and then it's like,
he's
like-
like a mutant cyborg misanthrope
yeah.
that knows all our secret identities already.
Yeah.
Yeah, after how threatened he was by Superman, if there's a 1% chance, well, this guy seems like there's more than 1% chance.
I'm sort of convinced,
Yeah.
like, the more we talk about it, now I'm thinking about this now, the more we talk about it, and the combination of these characters as they're portrayed and as their power set is portrayed, it's like, I don't know how else you could put him in less than the thing than how he does it, in this big mythical sort of way. Just because it's like, he's way too powerful with Superman, with the Flash, like, being able to turn back time. It's like, yikes, guys, all this stuff, it's like, this isn't, this ain't Falcon, on a shrimp boat down there or whatever. Like, this is
Batman's
like a
like, I
different
drove this
scale.
here.
Yeah, this is a different scale of people. Like,
Yeah, no wonder everybody's so nervous about everything in this world.
so
Like, it's
moody
got out of
about
hand, and Batman just has no superpower. It's like, this whole thing's out of hand.
You know, they'd be funny if they had a line. It's like, well, we were all happy the world was until that damn magic stone thing happened, and everybody's super melodramatic sense. It's like we're very dour all the time about stuff. So
That'd be funny. Like all the colors are
don't get your hopes up. It's
desaturated.
just gonna get taken away. Like, wasn't that?
Yeah, remember when we had magical wish power?
Remember when we were forced to take our wishes back by Wonder Woman?
When we had
She told
everything
us-
we ever wanted, and Wonder Woman told us to.
She should be the most famous person in the world. She was on international television,
Yeah, exactly.
talking to people to take their wishes back.
Little Captain Buzzkill over here sent us back
Like,
into
oh
poverty.
yeah, it's her. Everybody would hate
Called
her.
it a day.
It's like it's her again. She made us take our wishes.
I think we can just pretend that movie didn't happen. I think
Thank
hopefully
God
that's what they're
for
going to do.
all our
'cause it's
heroes. That is funny. People are like, it's the Justice League. You're like, oh hell, what now?
That one, I will say, like, now I don't know what other ones. I guess we'll get a Flash one, maybe, and Aquaman 2, I guess, definitely, right?
They're in pre-production on Flash. That's not a
So,
guarantee.
and
that'll get
Aquaman
made.
2 will probably get
And-
made. That was
And
successful.
they're working on Aquaman 2. Yeah, it made
Wonder
$1
Woman
billion.
3 too, I guess.
They greenlit it.
So, but of all the movies, still my Wonder Woman's my favorite. It's actually the one
Yeah, that-
good movie. It's
that
the
first
good
Wonder Woman was
movie.
amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
I'm a big fan of the Aquaman movie too. I'm glad that
Yeah, Aquaman movie's a good
some.
superhero, but I mean, to me, the Wonder Woman movie was like, man, when you watch it again, because we watched the '84 and then we went back, and I was like, well, we watched it. I was like, man, this is such a good movie. This first one, it really is grounded and all the characters. It's fun, like it's the right mixture of a lot of things.
She's such a good character. In that
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
She has the perfect amount of humanity that like kind of really digs through, even when she doesn't have a lot to say. Like, and they just really have time in that movie. It's really, it feels like, I mean, their kind of quirkiness feels like, I mean, that's what she said she based it on, was the Superman and all that stuff. Like, it just feels, has a very positive vibe, you know.
Yeah, it feels like, I think because her character is so positive and so affirmative.
Yeah, and she
carries
stays
to the
like
movie.
that,
She's so
yeah.
charming, and Steve is so charming, and
But that's what makes her heroic. You don't go, well, she doesn't go, oh, this is horrible. We should just not
I
do
hate helping
anything.
people.
She's like, no, I'm going to get up here in the middle of this thing and walk out there and stop it. Like, that's what she does. That's why
Yeah,
she-
that's such a great scene.
it's like, that's the whole,
That's
what
like-
she does the entire time. It's
That's
like,
the end of the
I
movie
don't
right
think
there
they've
because
gotten
it's all
Diana's
downhill.
character
Yeah.
right since then. Like, I think if that movie is her character, when you get to her in '84 and she's just like, oh, I'm hiding because Steve was the only man I ever loved. It's like,
yeah, they totally tank her character now because she's like, I was like, stop talking. I mean, anybody would get it. You knew him for like a month or like 3 weeks or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
not even that big a
like,
deal. It's like,
what did you do to her?
I was like,
She
you're
was
the
so-
like the
She
best
spent
person in the
5,000
world.
years.
Yeah.
5,000 years being, because that's how old they say she is, being this heroic woman who just like is strong and positive and wants to change the world, and then like 10 minutes with this guy.
I mean,
Well,
again, this
that's-
is like,
you
again, it's
said
a
that when we were
teenage
talking
level
about
of.
the Wonder Woman thing. Is like, what's disappointing about that is it makes it sound like 10 minutes with a man that just ruined her for the
Right.
rest of every. Because like 5,000 years, you were in an all-woman society that
Yeah.
was not a celibate society, and
Yeah.
then you met this guy for like a week, and you're like, that's it.
Yeah,
I'll
what you
never-
wanna
I'll
do
never
is,
love
like-
anybody ever again.
Wonder Woman '84, she should have gotten with Chara. She should have been with Cheetah, like that.
That'd have done something, yeah.
They
Like,
had big lesbian energy, and they just didn't
because
even.
they did have that chemistry with each other. Like they
did, they
knew
were
each
great
other.
together.
Like they had, like yeah, that could have
But
been
that's
something fun.
But that's what you want. You wanted like you want her life when you see bits of it throughout the years to be almost like is in in the Titanic where you see Rose and all the stuff she's done and people she's been with. Like that's what you want. Rose, they don't cut to Rose and she's like, I'll never not Jack again, and I just don't know. I've been lonely. And then it's like
that's
no,
actually the
Like,
same problem in
it's like-
Titanic because you're like, wait a second, you knew this guy for a week, and then after that, you got married and you had a family and you had kids and grandkids, and then here you are at your deathbed, and you're like, but that guy I knew for a week was the only person I ever really.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
What
when it
happened?
shows. I'm talking about the life it shows that she led.
But yeah,
That's
she
what
went on
you
to have a
want.
life.
Yeah.
She didn't waste her whole life. Like she had a Dawson farm, but she didn't waste her life like being
Yeah.
sad because of it.
And that's what makes
Well,
when
there's-
Wonder Woman
Bring
gets
back
around
Kate
them. That's why I like that's what makes Wonder Woman. I mean, they touch on it with the thing and the thing, and the way she does it naturally, just as an actress in the scenes, actor in the scenes. But That's what makes it funny with her and Bruce, because he's the grizzled, but she's like over intimidates him because she has so much experience and so much just life in general. You know what I mean? Like they kind of do that a little bit. They hit on that a little bit, but this is what I'd want to see if we had a 6-hour version. Like them more. I think they're kind of cute together. Like how they, you know, it brings him a little bit out of. I mean, that's totally against what Batman is, but also again, what Batman is very teenage-based emotions too. It's like again something that happened 40 years ago, and he's pissed
just
about
in
it.
A state of arrested development over it.
Yeah.
My entire life is defined
Batman
by my
is
childhood.
the more I get into it, because I realize I find myself liking the character of Batman less the more we try to analyze him more, because I realize he's problematic. It's like, so you're a billionaire inventor, and you spend all of your money making gadgets that help you beat up mentally ill people. And that's your whole shtick. Like, you don't do anything. Like,
And if
Arkham
someone else
is a...
does it,
Yeah, then they have to be
I'm not
stopped.
wearing hockey sticks.
But Arkham is just a nightmare place. And you would think, like, maybe take your billions and build a real mental health facility in Gotham. Or maybe address, because Superman says it. He's like, in BVS, he's like, this guy just beats up poor people. It's like, that wasn't a wrong line. That was actually true. And Batman was even being worse in that movie. But even when he's the good Batman, it's like, you're not doing anything to actually fix the problem. You're definitely part of the problem here. Uh-oh.
He said he'd be right back, which means he's about to get murdered.
I never know what to make of it when someone just suddenly disappears.
Yeah. That's what's happening. And just
But
being
I don't
grisly
know.
murdered.
With Iron Man, you at least see he's just as bad, but not only do you see that he's actually trying to create inventions that make the world at large better with his company, but you also see that he's an essentially selfish person in his personality. Even when he tries to be good, Iron Man has a lot of ego, and a lot of what he does is to try to satisfy his own sense of guilt or make himself feel better about
But
the
he
world.
is trying to save the world. Like he does stop making weapons, and he does try to make a satellite system that'll protect the world. Like he is trying in his own way.
He just
He's
wants
not
to
good at
name
it.
the stakes and the terms of things. That's his problem. And he doesn't
control
take
freak.
ownership for his role in creating those problems because of it.
Mm.
But Batman, we don't even get that level of analysis. We're
He's just a
presented Batman
teenager,
like
like
he's
he's
just
like a-
noble.
Stand
And
around
there
in
is
a
no
cave and beat
deconstruction.
up baddies. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just beat people up. Like the Joker's terrible, but people like the Joker don't actually exist in real life. Now, the maniacs do, but not to that level. And this idea that what Batman no kill rule is supposed to be just like Superman, it's like we have to assume that everyone is redeemable. But if I just hate the Joker and just wish I could kill him, then I don't really think that. Like, I'm just not killing him for no reason. Like, you might as well have murdered the Joker if you don't think there's anything redeemable about him, and you're just going to continue beating him up.
And then you just lock him in the horrible asylum and throw away the key. That's not.
Yeah,
in
you
a
know
lot
he's
of
not
ways, that's
getting
hoping
treated.
for redemption.
You know that there's no. It really is a story about, you know, that our sort of society's prison culture, because we know there's no road to rehabilitation in the system that we're throwing Joker in, but we're like, I can't kill him because I'm noble. Like, but you're not giving him a path to become the person you say he should be responsible for becoming.
Yeah.
And you're just perpetuating that same cycle.
Possible.
Yeah, we assume that you believe that it is possible, because that's otherwise the no kill rule doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's
Otherwise,
why
you
Zack
just think that
Snyder's
you're
like, it
better
doesn't
than
make any
everybody.
sense. That's why Batman just kills people. But if
'Cause it
Batman
doesn't,
just
because,
kills
like, if
people,
you-
why is the Joker still alive if
How many
Batman
times
thinks
do you-
it's viable?
Yeah, because how
There's
many
every
times do
reason.
they have to kill people for you to be like, this person is not redeemable?
Yeah, so that's
Every
an
time you let them out again.
inconsistency in the Snyderverse anyway, where this Joker would have already been killed. And which I think is kind of hinted at in BVS. You sort of get the impression that whatever went down with Robin, that Joker no longer exists. And then they started trying to lighten it up in Suicide Squad and stuff. And now this Joker, they're saying the Joker exists, but that doesn't make any sense.
Joker doesn't need to be the original Joker. Like this one could be which one of these kids turned into the Joker?
Who was it? Tim Drake in the cartoon.
Yeah. But there's so much that he folds into these that is from like a cartoon or from a comic or from a game or something like that. He chucks a bunch of stuff in there.
That was such a cool fan theory, though, about this Joker just being Robin. And that would have been an awesome thing, because it wouldn't have been the Joker that killed Jason Todd. It would have been somebody, either Jason Todd, who had lived but just went crazy.
Yeah.
Or one of the other Robins that just lost his mind.
Robins. Like, because this is an older Batman. And I really like Ben Affleck as Batman, or at least as Bruce Wayne. I think he did fine. I think he was charming. I liked him.
All the cast are good. Like, the thing that always used to bother us about these movies is you have all the constituent elements that you have are great.
Yeah.
Like, it's a shame you can't make something better because you got all the parts.
Oh, apart from the guy playing Lex Luthor.
Even he's good. I think even parts of his performance as Luthor I like.
See, I tried to watch BVS again yesterday, and I got to the part where he came in, and I had to turn it off. I just couldn't.
I think the problem with that is that they build the story up like Luthor is a big deal, but the Luthor they give us doesn't seem like a big deal. He doesn't seem like a very smart guy that would have figured a bunch of stuff out. So you can't do both. If he's supposed to be this mastermind, then you got to put more work into that character.
Yeah.
Well, and also that stuff doesn't work with. I mean, again, because Zack Snyder, his strength is this like style, and when you have a plot that's very convoluted, has a lot of substance, and needs to have a substance, it's like, this doesn't work. Just that's why this movie works so well, because it's like, go here, find this one, line. Go here, go fight these people, go here, and you're like, this all works.
Do the fighting.
Yeah, get the magic boxes. Use the magic boxes.
That's like BVS is like the guy's been sending letters to Bruce. Yeah, like it's like what is going on here? And there's a jar of piss, and because he said the one line, it's like what? Okay, it's like
no. But what if someone had caught Luthor pissing in a jar in Congress? So like that ruined his whole.
Like, or was someone else's?
I think it had to have been his own. If I know that Luthor.
Luthor cackling and peeing into a jar.
And they just walk in early, like, "What are you doing?" Like, like
it was a pretty big jar
that's
too.
Definitely got to be illegal,
right?
And it was a really big jar. That means he prepped. Like he drank a pitcher of iced tea. Which I also assume that Luthor would have made sure he drank actual iced tea.
Right. Yeah.
Because he appreciates his craft. All right. Well, okay. I guess that's enough.
Are we done?
A three-parter. I did want to talk for 4 hours. We've talked for nearly 3.
We don't want to become the nightmare version of the podcast.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Sean's killed everybody. Yeah. One of the reviews is like, it's like Jared Leto doing his best Jim Carrey impression. I was like, I guess it is sort of like, he does that weird. It just doesn't. Jared Leto just doesn't have any. It's just weird how some people. He doesn't have any gravitas to me as that role at all, and it comes out here where it's just.
I'm not a hater of his performance.
I'm not a hater of it. It just doesn't work. It's just.
I still think that if you'd written the right story around it, that Joker could work. But the weirdest thing about the Jared Leto Joker is they keep bringing him into things where they don't need a Joker, and he's just there.
And that scene, so everybody's first question whenever we watch the reaction is like, why would they have him on the team? Like, what does he bring at all to a team?
That's true.
It's like
he's really good at killing cops, apparently. Did you see like all the badges that he's wearing on his vest?
It's just that's just a poor scene. I won't. That's a poor scene all around. Like they're just.
Yeah.
I love how like, Cyborg and Mira. They're like, well, they don't really have different costumes. They just put like cloaks on them. They're like, these are like the same
it's like
costume.
they knew it was the apocalypse,
but
so they all
just
just
put
started
a
wearing
apocalypse
burlap.
cloaks. But he still has the same. I mean, I know Cyborg is like but he's not like. I want to see him like Mad Maxed out, like much more transform. You know what I mean? Like if he's changing all the time.
Flash has
Yeah.
like a full suit of armor.
Flash has an awesome, cool. Yeah, Flash is the perfect example. He looks awesome. You're like, that looks kind of cool. I don't know. I don't get it, but it's cool.
Yeah, I don't know why he needs all that, but whatever.
I don't know why Batman's wearing that cowl. Everybody, that's like the silly stuff of this stuff.
Where he's
like,
wearing a coat over his.
It's like, just don't wear the cowl.
He's wearing goggles.
Obviously, the
Like,
cowl is just.
Are you telling me that you don't have any kind of lenses in there that could protect? Like, if you need goggles because it's such a desert, no one
That's
else
the
is
one
wearing
thing
goggles.
about this. About
Why
this,
do you need goggles?
The Batfleck, I actually don't mind. I think he does a pretty good job. I don't mind him in any of these movies. I just think, and I actually like that cowl outside of somebody in it. But him inside of it always just looks goofy as hell to me. Like his face looks like too wide or something, and then it's like too little, and it's just weird.
I think the problem, and the first Batman movie started this, even though it didn't do it that bad. But I saw like a picture from that TV show Nightman, which was from the 90s, so you probably haven't seen it.
Dayman? Nightman?
Oh, Nightman. No, Dayman is the fighter of the Nightman.
Yeah.
But Nightman, this was from an old comic, like in the 90s, and it was a Glenn Larson show about a superhero who could tune into the frequency of evil. But for some reason, he had like a mask, and this was the time where every time they made like a superhero mask, it'd be this weirdly articulated, molded rubber mask, so it had its own facial features. And that's the weird thing about the Batman, the Affleck Batman, is there are facial features molded into that Batman cowl, like it has like kind of crow's feet and stuff, and like and indentions in the nose and stuff, and it makes it look like a weird Halloween because it's a good costume. Even the mask is really good. It's just that's just a little too articulated. Like, why would you have done when you were making that? Like, if you watch like the Robert Pattinson costume they have, his mask looks really good, and it's almost like a helmet. And the Nolan one was kind of like, very flat,
like a helmet,
and dark. But when they have these really cool molded, like you made that, like you designed that, and then you molded this thing.
Alfred did.
Yeah, you guys are like, you did a sculpt.
Alfred lovingly
for that.
sculpting.
Yeah,
See, that would have been
because you have to press multiples of that. So you made a sculpt and built a mold, and now you have to like press like your own rubber masks, like in bulk for that. A look. That's what makes it a bit. The costume. Outside of the mask, that costume is awesome. I love the material. I love the bat symbol on his stuff.
Monster.
He's very buff and like, but they're going for that Dark Knight Returns look, and he does have that sort of look to him. But I think otherwise that costume looks great.
Yeah,
and the mask doesn't bother me, but it does come off as silly with that unnecessary sort of detail.
Yeah, it's goofy. It's like it is weird thinking that they made it like that because. But that's the thing.
Like he was trying to convince someone he was a literal Batman, like he's half bat.
Yeah,
like it looks like it's got a real face.
That's kind of I wish that there was more about that stuff and explored those things. I mean, because I think Jeremy Irons' Alfred's great. I mean, I even think that scene where Superman, it's like it's like the style over substance. There's like style, but not over, but no substance. Like that scene that was in the trailers because it's a cool trailer thing. You like Jurassic Park, the water whiskey, and then Superman comes down. And it's just to say, like, we kind of saw that sort of part in the trailer, and they released that clip where he's like, hope you're not too late. That's just like a big trailer moment, and you're like, but that's all they say. And that scene cuts away. Mm-hmm. It's like, wouldn't it have been nice if Alfred kind of gave him some sort of like fatherly advice because he doesn't have anybody? You know what I mean? If Alfred sort of that kind of. I like the dynamics they could have built there. Like, there should be. That scene's nothing, though. It's just him showing up. But I was like, well, couldn't he just gone above the earth and told where they were and then
it's just
down?
A trailer scene. And then in the theatrical, they did actually cut that out of the theatrical cut
because it doesn't matter. It doesn't. So
it's Superman, only for the trailer.
Yeah, and that's what. See, that's why. I mean, it's like one of those things when you watch it, it's like cool. The more you see, like even Martian Manhunter, when I watched it, I'm like, that's cool. Like if you just watch the stuff and you turn your brain off, you're like, that's cool. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
It's only when you go back, you're like, that's why it's like I was like, I get it. You know, Whedon, the Justice thing had more mandates and stuff. But it's a little unfair for some of these things, because like that would have been cut. That would have been cut. I mean, some of the Cyborg stuff maybe because the repercussions aren't there could have been cut. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can see the decision behind some of these cuts, because it's like Cyborg maybe because it just digs into too deep. Like take away like whatever maybe prejudice. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it digs too deep into something that's much larger. So if you just cut a little bit, you could cut a lot out. And if you're getting from 4 hours to 2 hours, that's what you're doing. You're not in a favorites game here. You're trying to figure out how to make this make sense in 4 hours. You know.
Yeah, really, the studio shouldn't have been like, this needs to be 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the original.
That's what they did. Apparently, they
original-
said it has to be under 2 hours,
Yeah.
and the cut is like 2:01 or something like that.
Yeah, well, they
made it.
should have looked at the original script and said, "Oh, this looks like a much longer movie. How about we cut it down
Yeah.
at this stage rather than letting him film all that
Yeah.
stuff and then going, oh, no, you got to squish it into 2 hours."
They
So-
locked themselves into some weird stuff too, because
Now,
they
he did add weird
they
stuff.
showed Cyborg's whole origin in BVS for no reason, like for
Yeah, they
some
already did
reason.
it, yeah.
That video. So we already have Cyborg.
Well,
but
you're totally right. All that
Narratively,
mystery-
it would have made so much more sense if the story had opened with his character and opened with his origin, and that because it revolved around the mother box, that could have led to the rest of the story as we saw it. But instead, we already had him. So they had to just, through exposition, say, oh, well, he already had a mother box because of the Nazis or some nonsense. And because my favorite thing
That's
in the
funny.
movie is like, okay, it was Lord of the Rings. So like,
Thank
we
you.
had the
You're about to make the
three-
point. I
all
thought about
the
it, yeah.
tribes of man had. So Themyscira, we took the mother box back to Themyscira. We built a stone temple around it, and 50 of our best warriors.
At all
for
times, there's like
5,000
100 people
years
watching
guarded
it.
this
That's
box.
awesome.
The
Yeah.
Atlanteans took it to the bottom of the sea and made a shrine at the bottom of the ocean and guarded it. And men took it into the woods, dug 2 feet down,
And just dropped it in there, and then
That was
apparently they
fucking
just
bad.
forgot about it until Nazis dug it up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Nazis found it." It's like, this is what happened with the Cosmic
Yeah.
Cube. This is the Marvel thing too. It's like we keep
God
forgetting
damn it,
about these
man.
relics
It's just
that are
like Lord of the
buried.
Rings. Every time we leave it up to the world of man, they half-ass it.
Like yeah, they didn't put it in any kind of tomb in any castle or anything. It's just
No,
under
and
the.
you
It's
can
in the
see,
middle of the
like,
woods.
hole.
Dug it like,
Like the shallowest hole. Like they
It's like-
basically just like kick some dirt on it. Like it was fine.
yeah, like people dig deeper to bury their cat.
That probably does seem that's got to be some sort of budgetary, like at that time, where they're like, I don't have a castle, I can't build a.
I just imagine Elrond being there. We're like, I was there
Damn it,
when
guys.
men
I'll send you
failed,
the
and you
file.
just see them digging a hole 2 foot deep, and Elrond going,
He's
no,
like, keep digging. They're like, we're tired. We're going to the pub.
no.
Especially just think how prepared the Amazonians are. They have 100 people with swords and spears pointed at it. I think that's pretty awesome. And 24/7, they're like, at any time something happens here,
We
for
buried it in the
5,000
woods
years.
and told no one.
And somehow the human one was found last because we forgot where it was. So maybe it
Oh,
was.
then
the
it's
best-
like the Nazis found it, then it's somebody's closet. The movie opens, it's just in his closet. I was like, this human one's gonna. Guys, they don't care about it at all. The guy's like, yeah, that was lost before, so don't worry about that. You're like,
we
what?
Should have never brought men in on this. What'd they even give us? What'd the world of men offer? Like, you had Zeus throwing thunderbolts, and like the Amazon,
what is
and
the-
Atlanteans, and there was a Green Lantern there. What was an army of like
It went out like a
Norsemen even
props.
doing?
Well, but they make me like, well, what are they? See, now I'm just questioning the DC like mythology. It was like, what are the gods supposed to be then? Like where did they go?
yeah, if,
And
they're
it's
not,
like-
if they don't represent the world,
Because
of men.
I mean, Ares was still around last in the 50s or whatever, or the 30s, 20s.
and the
teens.
implication was supposed to be that the gods of that time would have been their superheroes, like though they were
Right.
the metahumans of that time.
So they and so
But
they all
that's not the
dead.
way-
They all died. I
They
guess
died in Wonder Woman. In Wonder Woman, they explain that Ares killed all the other gods.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But gods were just metahumans, basically. That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
They don't
Sort
really
of.
explain that, but yeah.
I'm just asking. It's like that we're supposed to
Yeah.
assume that. I like the effects on it are awesome. I love how their arms are all glowing and stuff. How they like have It's pretty cool. That scene's pretty
cool.
fun.
I like
That's the
that
Lord of the Rings scene.
there's a Green Lantern there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If anything, I wish they had a cameo with Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, which was a rumor that went around. It was like, I'd love it if this thing just went balls to the wall on everything, but no.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said was supposed to be at the end. It wasn't supposed to be Martian Manhunter. It was supposed to be lanterns.
Well, because the original marketing push was
So
Unite the Seven.
Right.
And you're not going to tell me the seventh one was supposed to be Martian Manhunter.
No.
It was almost like they had to bring in somebody to say, well, we got to have 7.
Well, he is in the cartoon. That's the one that Alex grew up reading those books.
Well, he's always in the comics. Like I'm not saying the character shouldn't be there. I just don't think he was part of the original plan.
You hate the character.
What are you going to get as Martians? Imagine you were just watching that movie Cold, and at the end of the movie, a dude just flew up a green man in a cape and said, "You can call me Martian Manhunter," and just fucked off.
It's just like,
And that was like, what? And that was the end of the
Imagine
movie.
being Batman in that moment. He's just like sleeping. And
Yeah,
he's
just,
like,
I know.
why doesn't he
"What's
just say my name's John? Like, I don't understand. It's so goofy.
because they just want to tease the character name, but that's so weird because Batman's like, there's Martians? Like, what do you mean?
Well, also, it's just weird in this world. Is
He just
because
looks tired. He's like, all right.
it's like I get it. Like, again, I'm not looking at. Again, it's always enough sense for it to pass, you know. But like, they really make such a big deal. They go to such lengths to show you, like, well, this Superman costume is his armor from the House of El. This is what they do. They wear capes and they do this stuff, but it's all part of this Kryptonian thing. And it's like such a big deal. It's not an S. Shut up. It's like, he doesn't wear underwear. It's really serious. It's a big deal. And then Martian Manhunter comes on. He has a big M on his thing. And then he's like, he has a cape. I was like, what's going on with these capes now? It's like, what's like?
I never got a cape.
You gotta start explaining this. It's like, it's like, whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
matter.
a lazy inclusion. And just so you know, Martian Manhunter was in this movie, and he flies away. What is happening?
Yeah, it's just too many questions. Like, that's what I'm saying. They bring up things like that, and like the cyborg being able to control all financial systems and make them work any way he wants to. That's a bigger deal. That's a bigger pond to wade into, I think.
That's also an untapped power when we're wanting to protect against like an alien invasion. It's like, well, maybe get in on that if you can control all the intelligence systems and defense networks in the world.
Right.
Then you probably should be monitoring all that kind of stuff. Like in the comics, he could actually monitor communications coming over mother boxes because he got his power from a mother box. So that was helpful.
That makes sense.
And I assume they could have gotten into that too. They didn't, but instead they were like, your dad locked himself in a room and lasered the box so hot that he just stood there and incinerated himself.
Yeah.
So that you would be able to track the thermal signature on the box. Because
the
your
huge
power
glowing
should be to
dome-
track those boxes.
Like they couldn't have looked on the satellite and went, oh, is there any weird looking activity here? Oh, there's a huge glowing alien dome.
Yeah, there's
In the middle of somewhere.
there's this
Go there.
irradiated part of Russia.
Right.
Seems to have a demon army living there.
Well, they also said that he stole all the radiation to create his toxic. So wouldn't they have someone monitoring that radiation normally just to check?
It's like,
on it?
it's all cleared
It's
away. Apparently.
What happened to that radiation? I
Yeah.
said,
It's like,
"Damn,
it's
that's
pretty
fine."
good for
weird.
this. I like that's just such as dumb. Like, I don't know why it made me crack up when he lands there and he's like, toxic, good. Whatever he says. It's like, what is, I'm like, it's goofy as hell. Like, that's the thing. It's like, if you're a 12-year-old boy or like watching a 12-year-old girl like that's into this stuff, all this stuff is like, it's to be kick-ass. You'd be like, yeah, this is
I enjoyed
awesome. Like,
I had a good time.
It's fun. I
mean,
don't know if I think of it as good because of the road that took to get here. I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. It's like I don't know
Yeah,
if there's an asterisk on that or not.
I mean, the
I don't know how
underall.
much I like of it is because it was better than the other one.
Yeah,
It's
Because
just-
I
it's
was
just-
like,
fine
this
now.
is a better scene.
Yeah, it's just well put together. The overall story of this is still not super interesting. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, whatever. They're doing this thing, that thing. It's not.
Yeah, they're
There's
just trying to
nothing
get from
super
one set piece
compelling.
to another. Yeah,
But it's fun. The action makes it fun, and they don't really let up from like something interesting happening. As a 4-hour piece of media, it works because it's not super boring
Yeah.
at any moment.
and
You're
I
like,
enjoyed
"Oh,
watching it.
Cool.
Like the
I'll
ending
always
goes
watch superhero
goofy,
stuff.
but-
Yeah,
But
I
it was
watched
fun.
every CW show I could. I watch superhero stuff whenever I can. So
Well, cool. Well, that was fun. Our
Yep.
3-hour 300th episode.
yeah,
So good.
Oh.
300 for Zack Snyder's best movie.
Yeah, we'll use that logo.
This is TV my dinner. This
Oh,
is podcast.
I'll probably start posting these episodes on the Marvel Age Star Wars channel because the TV Ate My Dinner channel is so dead. I don't think we can get recommendations. Like nobody knows it's there. I'll appeal to our stronger
I keep going and
subscriber
like
base.
commenting and liking just to try to.
I know, and that's all this there. Like it's
me.
just
I
the
like
problem
this
is,
show.
and once you would think like having a history for a channel would help, but but YouTube just gives up on channels if they've been there too long without building a certain base. So it's better to just
YouTube algorithm is a cruel place.
so we'll probably just start posting the TV at my dinners as content on the Marvel Age Star Wars, and that's better anyway. We can consolidate
Just link the
our
channels.
content for all the subscribers. They're linked, yeah. I mean, you can get to one from the other. And you can go to tvatmydinner.com to see whatever we post anywhere. I'm still
Nobody
doing
goes to websites
posting.
anymore.
No one goes to tvatmydinner.com, I don't think. But that would be the place to go because we do it's a jumping off point for all this other stuff. But we still post to Libsyn for the subscribers there, so the audios are still out there too. But so check that out. Check out the Marvel Age Star Wars. I mean, you check out the TV at my dinner also. We certainly have a big backlog of stuff on that channel, but I think I'm going to
300 episodes. At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, it's definitely
That's
more
just the
than
number.
300 episodes. 'Cause we
Plus
had all those
bonuses,
offshoot little
yeah.
series and specials and things. So there's a bunch of stuff on there.
It's exciting
And,
how much we've grown since it was started.
Well,
Without
in
you and I, Andrew.
2007. Yeah, it's been fun. And all the people that we've had a chance to do the show with and everything. And now we're doing it on video, which is cool.
Yeah.
Live in color.
Which is actually easier than doing audio now.
Yeah,
It's
video's
funny.
easier. I've switched that. All my podcasts I do, we do this now because it's so
So,
much easier.
Yeah, this is great. And one positive, byproduct of the pandemic is everyone just got used to the Zoom format. So it's easy to sort of transition to that.
The whole world is this.
So we'll take advantage of whatever we can get. So yeah, check that out. We're also on Facebook. TV at My Dinner is. So I still check that. We're on Twitter, but I don't really check that very much. I don't think anybody's on Twitter.
I'm
That
on Twitter.
watch-
It's the only place I am. I'm
Oh,
not on
really?
Facebook anymore because I hate
Oh yeah,
Facebook.
that's right. Because you never gave the handle. I don't know who you are on Twitter, but
You're following me, so
I probably have you on there. But like I said, I'm never on Twitter. So
I can post whatever I like about you.
well, you could anyway, probably.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll read it. Actually, I probably won't read the Twitter. But it's there, so check that out and be looking out. We'll have some more Marvel Age Star Wars stuff coming up too pretty soon. I know. I think we just did one, like Brooks and I. I haven't even looked at it yet, but we'll have that, and we definitely have some more to eat my dinner. We've got some where it was just you and me, Andrew, that I just held back because I wanted to do the 300 first. So we got a nice little backlog of videos. I'll try to start cranking those out to get some more content out there since we were on hiatus for a little while. Catch you back up. It's so much fun. I do wish that Justice League had been an ongoing thing. It's fun if we can sort of attach ourselves to a show. I just don't think
Falcon Winter Soldier, but
We
it's
can
not
do
as
it.
exciting.
But we would have been better off if we'd hitched to WandaVision when it was
Well,
going on.
Loki's comes out June 1st or something like that.
Our WandaVision came out after the show was over.
Right.
So we were like giving theories. We're the
We're
opposite
like
of
halfway
what
through
people
it and
do.
going like, I reckon this is what's gonna happen. I was laughing so hard. I was like,
Yeah,
this was like
I mean,
listening to you guys talk about Game of Thrones when I knew it was gonna happen and you didn't.
Yeah, it was the best thing when they broke from the books because then nobody knew what the hell was going on that show.
I did that with us like what I told you like last year. I went back and listened to that one when I was just guesting on that too. It was Brooks and well, they had still not done it, so I think you and I just started doing Game of Thrones, right? The first year before Lynn came on. But we had that Star Wars. It was when Disney bought Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's a funny episode to listen to think of all the stuff they're gonna do. Like, what do you think they do, man? And it's like,
That's what I enjoy. I
That
can go
was
back and listen to these
2013.
episodes
It's like
to
8 years
see,
later.
and you'll be astonished sometimes. Like, geez, that opinion did not age well.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm too. Yeah, I don't want to go listen back to something that's like. I don't think we did. Yeah.
We try to stay positive, so I've had stupid opinions as I still do, but I don't think, for the most part, I don't think we
I'm trying
always
to
used to
think.
try to stay positive on things. So hopefully we didn't say anything that
Yeah, the worst is just
too
being
embarrassing.
overcritical, like too sarcastic about things or something. I don't think we've ever been.
Or just terrible predictions about what's to come.
That's
I'm
really
bad
the
at
thing.
that.
The
I
predictions.
never know. So it was fun.
Really?
After
The worst was your sex
14
dolls
years.
episode?
I wasn't on that one, so that was.
Yeah, I probably stand by the opinions that I had on that episode. I'd have to go back
We
and
did boobs
listen.
in space. It was epic.
Yeah, we probably don't do as much stuff oriented to that. What's funny is the Sex and Space episode we did was like you, me, and Tracy.
Yeah.
Like, so
Tracy.
we got some interesting perspectives on that particular. That was back when we just picked something out of a hat. I don't know.
We were just
Who
like, what
even came
topic?
up
Let's
with
talk
that?
about that. We just, as long as we had something to talk about that week, we'd just talk.
It didn't matter if we knew anything about it.
No, we just talked.
So we need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get that same back, like get the same frequency of just we'll just talk about whatever. Who
That's
cares?
how the world works. You don't have to talk
Yeah,
about anything.
but get
Or
with
know
the
anything.
times. No one has a
topic.
basis for what they talk about anymore.
I'm going to talk about identity politics every week, okay?
Yeah. All right.
Gender
So there you
dynamics.
have it.
Yeah.
That was our 300th episode, and probably the first 301 and 2 as well. But thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Until then, my name is Sean.
My name's Andrew.
And I'm Lynn. Yay.
Yay. Excelsior.
We talked for 3 hours. I'm so tired.
Booyah.
I know it's like at 10 p.m. now here, so it's like
I'm
way
going to
my
stop
bedtime.
recording.